Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Joe Flash, and welcome back to another reaction video. So as I said earlier today, I was going to make another voice comparison reaction video after I did my previous one earlier today with Nick Fury. I already been home from Walmart quite a couple of hours ago, but I was just tired and I was doing other stuff. I was checking out some videos that I found on YouTube that I haven't watched in a while, and even new videos. So, I couldn't tell if I was going to I told you I was probably not going to immediately be able to do it as soon as I come home from Walmart, but nonetheless, here I am. So I was just about to get ready to take a shower, but I figured just before I do it, in case so that way I wouldn't forget, I would make this quick video, and then I would go straight for the shower. So, so for the next video that I'll be reacting to, or for the next Marvel character that I'll be reacting to for voice comparison, will be none other than, sorry, excuse me, hiccups, I was drinking water before I got here. The next character will be none other than the one and only man who has the ability to shrink like the size of an ant. And if needed, sometimes he can grow giant size, like a real giant, but most of the time he spends most of his hero days as a tiny man, as the size of an ant to save the day. And that is none other than, of course, you've guessed it, Ant-Man. More specifically, Scott Lang, because there are two different Ant-Mans. There's the original Ant-Man, who also went by Giant Man, that being Hank Pym, who also created another superhero persona named Yellow Jacket. And then there's the second Ant-Man that pretty much is currently our current Ant-Man in the Marvel Universe right now, especially the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Scott Lang. So while I do prefer Hank Pym over him any day now, Scott Lang has gone on to really prove himself a very worthy Ant-Man on his own. Hank Pym will, he'll always be remembered as the original Ant-Man, and pretty much it's always going to be like what everybody will prefer Hank Pym over Scott Lang. But still, Scott really has gone on to really make a huge name for himself as his own Ant-Man. When I first saw Scott Lang, I wasn't really too sure about him at first, but when the time has flowed by on, I've really started to get used to him. I first was introduced to Scott Lang Ant-Man in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers show. Pretty cool little story. He had a daughter, and, he was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was arrested. I think he was becoming a criminal first, but he found a way to redeem himself, and then he becomes a hero. I know they made an Ant-Man film that talked about it. I only saw it once, and then I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp once. And now I know that I think either next year or in 2024 they're making another Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, which is going to be pretty interesting to see. I've only seen a trailer for it that was playing at Showbiz. It looks like it'll be pretty interesting. It looks like it might be worth something to check out. And, as I said, so even though Scott Lang is our current Ant-Man and I still prefer Hank Pym, he really has gone on to make a very worthy name for himself. To be able to switch up between a different person to become the new hero, to become a hero that was already rolled in by someone else previously, and then they take the role themselves, for it to be able to switch that way with the new person being the new hero, it kind of takes a bit of a while to get used to it at first. It depends on how well they book them, you know what I'm saying? And the way how they booked Scott Lang is really not a bad way on how they switched from Hank Pym to Scott Lang. It really worked. It probably took some Marvel fans times to figure it out. Like, it usually works for anybody that becomes a new hero. But Scott Lang eventually grew into it, He eventually really grew into making a name for himself as his own Ant-Man. And it's really quite amazing just to see how he's getting a pretty good spot. He's in the MCU, and he's getting another film pretty soon, and I'm pretty sure he still will be a part of the Avengers in the near future and all that, and I can only imagine what more Scott Lang could probably do in the MCU. I really don't know. I haven't been thinking about it that much, but I'm kind of curious to wonder how much longer he could go on, and maybe what they'll do for him in the near future if they decide to keep his legacy going. So this will be interesting, and and even Hank Pym even still hangs around to give him advice and everything as a former Ant-Man, like even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's pretty interesting to see, it's really quite an interesting story on just how it goes, There's really not much else for me to say. I didn't really exactly have a lot to say, I will be completely honest, but it's still a cool story, Scott Lang really has gone on to really make a great name for himself, he really has, and it's very, inspiring, especially it's always a great way to see a hero get its new owner, I guess, like when one person was that hero and then a new generation of a person becomes the new hero, it's kind of like that, we've seen other heroes like that too, like in an alternate universe, we've seen Bruce Wayne retire as Batman, and then Terry McGinnis becomes the new Batman, more specifically known as Batman Beyond. In an episode of Batman Brave and the Bold, they talked about a future story of what it'd be like if Bruce Wayne retired, and so Dick Grayson, who was Robin and then became Nightwing, became the new Batman. And then Damian Wayne went on to be the new Robin, and then when Dick Grayson's time was up, then Damian Wayne became the new Batman and all that. So, it really is a great way of telling on, when a hero, the name of the hero gets a new person wearing the costume after when the retirements and all that stuff. So it's pretty interesting just to see it switch over like that, because you never know. There will always be a new generation of heroes, and even in an alternate universe, we see Peter Parker die as Spider-Man, and then Miles Morales becomes the new Spider-Man, and all that kind of stuff. So, it's always great, and it's interesting. Like, it's really interesting just to see how they switch up with a new person becoming the new version of the hero. And even recently in the MCU, we saw with Black Panther, if you guys haven't even seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever yet, you should check that out. Yeah, it's pretty interesting because, people have been wondering what was going to happen with that movie since, Chadwick Boseman obviously passed away 2 years ago, so his MCU future was coming to a screeching, well, his MCU career was pretty much already over because, without the actor, he can't really continue on with the character. Because fans were asking the question if whether or not they were going to continue on with T'Challa and just have a new actor play him, or if they were just going to pay respect and just find a way to make the Black Panther character T'Challa die and then a new generation whiz. And out of respect, they were willing to, let Chadwick Boseman rest in peace, and they were willing to, find a way to kill off T'Challa, and then a new generation of a new Black Panther would be born. So it was great, it was very respectful. I really did like that a lot. It was a very respectful move for the Marvel Universe to kill T'Challa in the MCU and just, to have a new hero, because it really would have not been the same without Chadwick Boseman. I mean, even if they were to find another actor, it still would have never been the same, so it's always a great way of just having a new generation of heroes come to be, it's always a great storytelling. And with Scott Lang, becoming the new Ant-Man really has gone on to really make a great storytelling in his own ways, it was really a great way, just looking back at the stories from what I remember, it's still pretty cool just the way on how they switched from Hank Pym to Scott Lang from the Ant-Man character, so it's nice, Other than that, there's nothing really much else left for me to say. I don't have a lot of time left to waste. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this. This is a pretty short video, by the way. It's only 2 minutes and 44 seconds long. And this is by Generation West, of course. And then after this, I'm going to go over to Behelit89's video and check his Ant-Man voice comparison out. And I'll tell you all my favorites by the end of this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right into this. Enough talk. Alright, so like John Cena and Triple H would always say, your time is up, my time is now, it's time to play the game. Let's go ahead and get it right into this, shall we? Ant-Man, Scott Lang, voice comparison in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Check the volume. Comparing the voices of Ant-Man, Scott Lang.
You wouldn't know this.
Yep. Fair enough you start with this, because, honestly, I kind of did forget that this is where it all started. I mean, this was where I was first introduced to Scott Lang, so I guess it's only fair enough that Earth's Mighty Heroes Avengers would be first, Because now that I think about it, there really hasn't been any other times they started using Scott Lang. This was his very first time being introduced in the Marvel Universe in 2010 in Earth's Mighty Heroes Avengers, so that's pretty cool, I kind of almost did forget that Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers was where Scott Lang really made his official Marvel debut when they first created the character, the man, to become the new Ant-Man is what I'm saying. But yeah, of course. Plus, as I said, you already know I love that show anyway, Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers, so of course I gotta give it a double thumbs up. And the fact it's Crispin Freeman as well, that's pretty cool as well. Crispin Freeman, I remember he was in some of my previous voice comparison videos. I know he did Venom and he did Spider-Man. I remember him in those 2 videos and probably some other ones as well. But yeah, Crispin Freeman's got some good voices as well. So yeah, double thumbs up. Especially when it comes to Earth's Mighty Heroes Avengers. I did see that episode too. I did see that episode where Scott Lang made his very first appearance in the show, and then, he went on to become the new Ant-Man to save his daughter.
I got involved with some bad people. People who thought that I could put my engineering skills to use opening bank vaults. Turns out they were right.
And you gave it all up to mop floors?
Not exactly. I got caught. But I did my time. And Cassie got better. But when I got out, there weren't a lot of engineering jobs for ex-cons. So I took the janitor position at the college. I didn't care. All that mattered was that Cassie was alive. But then...
yeah, his daughter is Cassie. Yeah, that's the name of the daughter. I could never remember his daughter's name, but yeah, it is Cassie.
Pym particles in the hands of AIM? We're talking unparalleled molecular destruction. Let's go. Your gear is charmingly handmade.
That's one way to describe it.
Well, we can't all be billionaires, Stark. Might not be
Okay,
pretty,
sure.
but this is some of the most cutting-edge tech.
I can't remember that. I don't remember that show, honestly.
Give
The
Iron
Marvel
Man
animated
alpha
series.
access.
I don't remember that show.
How you doing, Dawn?
He's like Jarvis, but
I like how his helmet kind of almost resembles the MCU helmet, almost. Got the same... There we go. Of course. Of course, you gotta put him in this video, man. That man, Paul Rudd, Paul Rudd, whatever his name is, I think it's Rudd if I'm not mistaken. Paul Rudd, man, he is Ant-Man. He is Scott Lang, bro. Come on. Ever since the Ant-Man film, he's gone on to make a great name for himself in the MCU. Ant-Man was a great way to start his career. Actually, no. Actually, Captain America Civil War, I think, is where he debuted, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Captain America Civil War, I think. Was it? Actually, let me look that up real quick. Okay, I'm back. No, I'm wrong. It was Ant-Man. Ant-Man was his first film, and then Captain America Civil War was the second one where he appeared in the movie. It was Chadwick Boseman's debut as Black Panther in that movie. Yeah, I was getting it mixed up. I'm sorry. I got it mixed up. I really got it so mixed up. I apologize. Yeah, but yeah, it was T'Challa I was thinking of. It was T'Challa Black Panther that made his debut in Captain America Civil War in 2016. And it was also the same film where Tom Holland made his debut as Spider-Man, so yeah, I'm sorry, I was getting it mixed up, but never mind. But still, ever since his first Ant-Man film, Paul Rudd has really gone on to make a great name for himself as Scott Lang. Like, he's played the role very great, you know, just... The way they be hiring some of these actors for the MCU have been great, you know. A lot of them have gone on to make some great characters, you know. They brought the characters to life, and Paul Rudd has definitely been doing an incredible job since then, and it's great to see him, you know, just continuing on, and curious to wonder how much longer he'll continue on. I mean, I don't think there's any chance of him retiring maybe anytime soon compared to Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans or any of those other previous OG Avenger actors, but... You know, because he's not really quite technically an OG. He appeared in 2015, so he's not exactly that much of an OG, you know what I mean? Not as OG as the first Avengers that were made in 2012, so... You get my point, but anyway, let's just continue on. But still, further line, he is Scott Lang, he is Ant-Man. It's Paul Rudd, man. I have to admit, his costume even looks pretty good, too. It really makes a good difference compared to him and Hank Pym. You know, it's a great-looking costume for Scott Lang for his own Ant-Man suit. You know, I've really gone on to really like that suit. Anyway, that's the end of Generation West's videos, and Generation West's video. So now let's head on over to Behelit89's video and check out some of the guys he included in his video that were not in this one. Here we are. Behelit89's Ant-Man Scott Lang voice comparison video. And let's see the other guys he included in his video that is not in here. Obviously, we already know Paul Rudd is not in this video, because for some reason Behelit89 only does animated voices, therefore he doesn't include the MCU actors, unless if they voiced him in video games and stuff. But anyway, let's resume right here.
I'll shrink in and get a...
Oh, please. This is your standard security vault. I'm the master of...
Oh, yeah, he did, yeah. I don't remember Josh Keaton voicing him in Avengers Assemble, but I do know that Josh Keaton did voice Scott Lang Ant-Man in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. That's where I remember him voicing Scott Lang Ant-Man in. He voiced him in, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. I played the game on the Switch, so... I'm kind of surprised he apparently voiced him in Avengers Assemble before then, so that's crazy to know. But... I'll still go ahead and give him a thumbs up, because I like Josh Keaton anyway, even though I love him way better as Spider-Man, especially when it comes to the Spectacular Spider-Man show, but still, Josh Keaton's great, you know, he's got other pretty good voice roles as well. Josh Keaton, you know, he's not my favorite voice actor, but he does got some very memorable, like, really it's just Spider-Man that's my only memorable voice that I love for him, honestly, but he's got some other good voices he's done before in the past, you know, but I just don't think there'll be anything else that'll be greater of a voice that he's done other than Spider-Man for the Spectacular Spider-Man show.
Or did you forget to put your phone on silent? Who is it? What's going on?
Forget the security test. It's the Avengers.
Call me? Maybe I missed it.
And it kind of fits as well because Scott Lang, you know, unlike Hank Pym, he kind of does like to have a little bit of fun sometimes while he's on the job. So I guess it's only fitting for Josh Keaton to voice Scott Lang in Ant-Man, since Scott Lang can kind of act a little bit like Peter Parker sometimes when he fights, you know.
Looks can be deceiving. The supports under the bridge are unstable. We have to fix them first. If we just rush in, we could make the problem worse. You can't just smash your way through everything, green guy. Growth discs,
Sure.
do your thing.
The voice does at least sound good enough, so I'll go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
Holding the bridge together.
I wasn't too sure at
Save that
first,
bus.
but it works.
But no smash. Your turn, shrink discs. Giant rocks may be dangerous, but little holes
Okay.
aren't too awful.
Oh boy. Hey, Bruce.
Coca-Cola. Oh, okay. Oh, so, wow, Paul Rudd is in this video. Okay, I didn't even think that Paul Rudd was even going to be featured. I'm surprised. Must have been a Coca-Cola commercial, maybe, probably. This is why I was like, what? I understand. Apparently, they must have made a Coca-Cola commercial where it featured Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. That must be what he's talking about. I never saw it, but apparently, I guess so. I mean, sometimes when they make drinks and foods, you know, they sponsor it with MCU films. You know, they get to make like little appearances. So I guess apparently Paul Rudd's Ant-Man got to make a Coca-Cola commercial. So that's pretty cool.
Might just take this last Coke, do you? Thanks, bye. Oh, you do mind. Sorry.
Paul Rudd. He's done an incredible job, man. I mean, come on. He is, like I said, I already said it numbers of times, but I don't need to keep saying it, but I'll say it one more time. He is Scott Lang. He is Ant-Man.
Oh, you poor sad Hulk. Hold on.
I guess it was worth to at least listen to his voice one more time, but anyway, so that's it, everybody. So there really hasn't been that many, so there's really not that many people, because Scott Lang is kind of still new, so they haven't really been utilizing him as much, you know. Well, not that. I'm not meaning to say they haven't been utilizing him as much. It's just, you know, he's still kind of a newer hero, so, you know, he hasn't been featured nearly as much in the Marvel Universe compared to Hank Pym, because Hank's been around for quite a while Scott Lang still has yet to be, you know, having a number of years to be around. He's only been around for, like, 12 years now, so he's kind of been around sort of long enough, but he's still somewhat new, you know what I mean? He's not, because if he hasn't appeared that many times in Marvel's related stuff, then he's still technically new, even though he's only 12 years old now, but still new. Anyway, so when it comes down to it, pretty much everybody did okay. Everybody did fine, so there really wasn't anyone that I disliked. So when it comes down to it, obviously, there's only one live-action Scott Lang Ant-Man of them all, and it's obviously Paul Rudd. You already know he was going to be on my list. And of course, you know that I love the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers show, and plus it's the same show that was responsible for Scott Lang's debut in Marvel, so I have to give it to Crispin Freeman as well. Was there anybody else, or are those probably the only two that I liked? There was some other guys that did alright too. Grant George was alright, Josh Keaton was alright. Pretty much everybody else did fine too, but it's probably just going to only have to be two. It's probably just only Paul Rudd and Crispin Freeman. They're probably just the only two that I love best so far right now for Ant-Man Scott Lang. Paul Rudd for being the only live-action Scott Lang Ant-Man, and Crispin Freeman for being my only favorite animated video game thing-related-wise Scott Lang Ant-Man. So it's only two, ladies and gentlemen, just two. Like I said, but I'll still give a little honorable mention to Grant George and Josh Keaton because they did alright as well. They did have some pretty good voices as well, but Crispin Freeman and Paul Rudd they earned my major respect and they deserved my picks. So those are just the only two. Now it's time for y'all to vote in the comments down below, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you love as Scott Lang Ant-Man? Start the conversation then down below, and, you know, maybe people can start to talk, you know. Y'all can talk back and forth on who you love, and maybe explain your reasons why you love that person as Scott Lang Ant-Man. And don't forget to share this video with your friends if you want to get their opinions on who they love as Ant-Man Scott Lang as well. And until then, when I'm back with another video, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I think I'll save it for tomorrow, even though it's only 6:50, but I can't really be, like, making too many videos at this time period because, you know, I'm pretty sure my parents and Mike probably might be going to bed early because, you know, we're on that break and, you know, my mom is still technically working until Wednesday since, you know, Red Oak is still kind of having school session going on until Wednesday. I would have been in college right now, tomorrow and Wednesday as well, but since the college campus is closed and there's nowhere else for us Red Oak students to go to, we got to go ahead and start taking the break off like Midlothian, Waxahachie, and Italy, so that's why, you know, I'm not at college, in case you're wondering, because I know that some of my Red Oak friends will probably be watching this video and they're probably wondering why I'm at home. Well, even though I would have already been home if I did, because it's 6:51, but still, you know what I mean. Let's just get it over with. So, I'm out of here. So, until then, when I'm back with the next video, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see y'all then, but I'm out of here. Off for the shower for me, and I'm probably just going to chill for the rest of the night, and then I'll probably be back for some more videos tomorrow. So, that'll be it for today, you guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Disliked it, give it a thumbs down. Join me next time in the next video, but until then, to all you boys, men, and guys out there, fist bumps to all of you. Excuse me. And to all the girls, ladies and women out there, kisses to all of you. But until then, this is Joe Flash signing off, and have a good day.